oh my God, now what I'm going to do? I've never been here before. What's the right thing? These are many situations that on a daily basis that we face. It can be very overwhelming when either a loved one is in a hospital or skilled nursing and they now have to go home and they can't be safe without help, or I just have noticed this decline in my loved one and there are so many things to think about. Where do I even start? Hi, I'm Phil Natsiopoulos, the owner of Always Best Care Senior Services, and today we're going to talk about care options when we're faced with some of these challenging dilemmas. So when looking at these things, there are some questions that I start to ask a loved one about mom, dad, grandma, grandpa, whoever the loved one is. The first question is, can this person live safely behind closed doors at home? It is the number one question that we want to answer first. Sometimes you need to lean on medical professionals, physical therapists, occupational therapists, whoever may be involved in this person's medical care. But ultimately, that's what we want to talk about is safety. If they can't live at home, then what are the alternatives? So before we get into different types, there's some important things to consider. Most importantly is, what is the individual needs? The care choices could vary based on ultimately two things: safety and resources. There is a deeper dive that goes into this, not just I got to do this or I got to do that, but we encourage people to take a bigger picture of not just today and tomorrow, but also going on into the next month and next year, or maybe multiple years after this. What is a good, safe environment that is also sustainable economically? A lot of times people will exhaust their personal resources before they pass away. So planning ahead for that inevitability, if that is going to be an inevitability, we need to take a look at that and come up with some really good recommendations. If you need help navigating this, we're not just a home care agency, but we're also a placement agency, meaning that we have the ability, and even in our mission is to help seniors and their families navigate the challenging circumstances of health and lifestyle changes. So that's what we're here for, and that's what we do. So if we've decided that home may not be the best place in terms of ongoing living, then we need to kind of break down what some of the options are available. And those options, again, they're just a whole bunch of different things, almost mix and match at times. But we'll start from the lowest level to the highest level in terms of where you're landing. First thing we can think about is an independent living community. Basically, another word is just senior living community, meaning here is apartment living. The residents that are there are all either above age 55 or above age 62. So there's community and socialization that can happen there. Many of these places also come with dining and a meal plan, come with some light housekeeping and maybe some laundry services. They have a different array of things also that could be available, like transportation to and from doctor's appointments and other things like that, and some activities. So there's this sense of community. It's a safer environment, especially if my loved one has been kind of isolated and no one's really around and we don't know what's happening all the time. That is the first option out there. Now again, this is with the idea that their care needs are not significant at all, and they are pretty much okay living independently in an apartment style living. There are some places now with independent, they legally speaking cannot provide any care services, but there are some that have made arrangements with companies like ours. We are at an independent living community where on a one-on-one basis we can come in and provide some light caregiving, like a medication reminder, a shower assist. We're there for the one thing or the two things, and then we're out of there and we're on to the next one. So that can also exist inside of independent living, and also inside of independent living, you may see a need for more care but not be ready for a change. So you can also contract a home care agency that can actually provide ongoing care service for a few hours a day up to 24/7 while we're trying to figure out the next step. So building on independent living, your next available thing is assisted living. And assisted living is taking kind of that starting place of independent living where it is apartment style living in a community where the residents are typically over 55 or over 62 and have the amenities that we had spoken of earlier in terms of dining and meal services, some light housekeeping and some laundry services, activities. Most of them have some type of transportation services. The difference is that in this environment also there are care services that are being provided by the community, which means they have a nurse on staff who develops a plan of care for each resident that's there, and that plan of care will include all of the ongoing care needs that that resident has. That could be medication management, medication dispensing and reminders. That could be shower assists. That could be transfers, meaning, when it's getting up and down from bed to wheelchair or up and down from bed to walker, helping get it on and off the toilet, shower services, as we mentioned, and any other ongoing needs, helping assistance with dressing and grooming. Whatever is necessary for that person to live safely in an apartment style living behind closed doors, that is what is provided at assisted living. There can come a point in time where care needs outweigh what that particular assisted living community can provide. Usually this is heavier type of care needs. It can be that literally it's a two-person transfer to get the person on and off bed, on and off couch, on and off the toilet. It could even be to the point where we need a Hoyer lift. Ultimately, when the care needs are greater than the staff and the staffing at the assisted living, they have their own regulations and requirements, and they can tell you that, hey, we've come to a place where it's no longer safe in this environment, and we're going to have to find another living alternative for you. Usually they'll give you a 30-day notice. A lot of times during that time, they will encourage you to find a home care agency that can help assist with the ongoing care needs that are greater than what the assisted living can provide, and hopefully help you find the next place. Again, nice thing about Always Best Care is we can actually do both of those things. When we come in, we can help you stay safely in the assisted living, while at the same time we can help you find whatever that next place is. The other thing that usually happens in terms of this is a memory care situation. Cognitively, maybe not physically getting up and down in those transfers, but cognitively, the loved one that's in this place is getting to a point where they're not safe without a lot more security and a lot more eyes on them because of behaviors due to lack of cognitive challenges or abilities. So this leads into the next level, or number 3, and that is memory care. Now, memory care is a specific senior living community that's designed for a person that is dealing with those cognitive challenges, where it's not just a physical challenge, but there is dementia. And the word that everyone knows is Alzheimer's, but there are many other forms of dementia. Ultimately, the loved one is not able to make good choices because of the decline in cognitive ability due to the disease of dementia in whatever form that it is. One of the biggest things that they look for is when someone begins to wander, where all of a sudden, because of the challenges, in their mind they're thinking, I need to go somewhere. And usually it's someplace in their past that maybe they used to live or somewhere else, but how it manifests itself is they go and they start walking. And we've seen now silver alerts on the highway. Usually that's what's happening, is a person has decided that they need to go somewhere even though they don't really know where that place is. They just know in their mind they need to get out. So with memory care, the first thing you know is that it's a secured place. A person that's cognitively challenged would not be able to get out of the community without someone helping them out of the community. So there's a safety net there. Secondly, the type of living is a little bit more open so that there's more eyes on the person than in an apartment living setting where, you know, it's behind closed doors unless a person is coming in to help them with a certain care need. That helps a lot. And in these places, there's some very, very good ones. They have a lot of activities that help to stimulate the mind and help to provide some type of security and comfort, because with all of these things comes a lot of fear, depression, and other things that are tagging along with their new living environment. The last thing that we're going to talk about in terms of where the next place may be is something that would be easily called long-term care. Now, there's two things that I think about when I'm thinking about long-term care living. The first one is called an adult family home, and it's in other places, other states, residential care home would be another way to put it. But ultimately what it means is someone has an actual residential home that has anywhere between 4 to 6 rooms where the residents can stay. So it's a small population with, in most cases, ongoing caregiving 24/7. Okay? Now, this is a great option when we are getting into these like extended care needs things. Maybe not just cognitive, but just, as we mentioned with assisted living, just too much care needs for the type of staff. So adult family homes can be a very, very good place, and there are so many of them. Again, this is where our services come into play, where we can help narrow that search down from 300 in one county down to, hey, let's look at the top 5 options for you based on all of your needs. And that's a really important starting place. And also with memory care, same thing. There are adult family homes that are memory care certified, so it's a secure environment for people who have cognitive challenges. Still usually have some type of transportation, some types of activities, but it's a very more relaxed home setting for a loved one. The second thing under long-term care is a nursing home. Another term is skilled nursing facilities. These are things that we have seen for many, many years. These are the places that many of our loved ones don't want to go to, and they have a big fear about it. But they do serve a very important purpose along a couple lines. One is because of the complicated nature of their care needs, it's the best viable option. If they are completely bedbound with other needs, sometimes that's what it is. Secondly, if resources are gone or are extremely limited, in many cases, the long-term care portion of a skilled nursing facility is also a Medicaid place. So there is Medicaid coming in to pay or supplement the cost of the care needs and also the living. So if you're watching this video, there's a very good chance that you are in the process of trying to figure these things out. And what I'd like to do is explain what our process is to help you along in this. There are a handful of things that we want to take into consideration to make a good plan and way to go for your loved one. The things that we're going to look at most importantly is safety and care needs. Secondly, we have to also take into consideration, obviously, your ability or your loved one's ability to pay. So the economy of what you can and can't afford really comes into play. Thirdly, and equally as important in many respects, is geography. We might have the best place to send you, but if it's 50 miles away from the nearest relative, probably not the best option. So we take all those things into consideration to help find usually the top 3 or 4 options for you. And we're believing that because we've already been to all these places, we've already toured these places, we've already checked the Department of Health and the statistics about these places, we feel safe to say that this is probably your best 3 or 4 options. Now, it could be that you don't like any of them. That's fine. because then we're going to go down to the next 3 or 4 options. The thing we don't want to do is give you a list of 20 places to go and say good luck. More important to us is that we give you an easy map to follow, and then also be with you on the tour and dialogue about each place that you saw to, again, talk these things through and see how you feel and do you feel it's a good fit. And then from there, we will help to facilitate all the other things that are necessary for your loved one to become a resident of that place. To learn more about working with us, please go to www.alwaysbestcaretacoma.com.